Hi, good evening to all of you. Rahul, Shubhanka, Akshay, Amrita. Am I audible? Okay. So we have got two Bollywood stars with us, Akshay and Shah Rukh Khan, Rahul. So let's start with this analysis. So we shall be taking up 2015 Bull Mock at 32, verbal section only. And my take, as usual, would be this test had only 8 easy questions, 6 difficult and 20 moderate. If you look at the composition part, I would say that this particular cat could be termed as moderate to difficult. So what is your take, guys? So how did you score? How did you fare in this particular test? Rahul, Shubhanka, Akshay, Amrita, all of you, verbal section, quite tricky this time. Average, you scored average. Average means were around 90-95 percentile. Shubhanka, you got 29. Okay, 29 score. Amrita, not good. Yes, as per the composition, and this time we kept RCs also very boring, abstract, and tricky at the same time. So all the three qualities embedded in one single RC, the net result would be low score. So let's say what questions I have picked up, just to share few things with you related to different question sections. So primarily from last couple of tests, 2 or 3 mock tests, we are trying our level best to be near the mock pattern uploaded by CAT people this year. Mock 2015 mock test uploaded by the CAT authorities. So that's why we have increased the number of RCs and the questions also. You'll find Bullcat 11 or mock 32, 33, etc. Whenever you'll be taking, you'll find we have increased the number of questions. So in case we do not simply say that this year's CAT would be exactly on the lines presented by CAT authorities, but in case if something similar sort comes, so we should be well prepared. That's why we are taking no chances and keeping 23-24 questions in RCs, and then parajumble questions we are making them without choices, means descriptive. You have to write your own answer choices, order of the sentences. So just to give you a little practice. So this is first passage, I think, related to neuroscience, and the gist was science says they can map, they can check, they can measure, they can quantify fear. On the other hand, author says that it is not possible because it depends on a lot many factors, environment, and fear is rarely without context. Every kind of fear has certain basis, and upon which we act under the influence of this emotion. So little science, and very short, concise, and science based. So probably if you're not from this background, you'll find this passage a little boring, difficult also, I would say, at the same time. So neuroscience. So as I told you last time also, that try to read the passage from 3 compartments or 3 tier view, 3 tiers view. For example, every passage would be consisting of few opinion lines from which we draw central idea questions and tone based questions, facts from where we create inference based questions for you, and whenever you see all of the following statements are correct or incorrect, how many statements correct, incorrect, these type of questions we create from examples or data, whatever we give you. So example lines. So primarily, if you are able to recall this session, this particular paragraph, so how was the passage? Okay, coming on to the So this is a very important line in this. Neuroscientists seem to predispose to the conclusion that there is no self. This would account for indifference to modifying the effects of individual history and experiences, and to the habit of organisms that arise from heredity, environment, etc. So all in all, in this passage, the author tried to say something against what science is saying, or scientists were saying, or scientists are saying. So very short but concise passage. So now, if your vocab is above average, we could have answered this question homeostasis even without reading the passage. So guys, what's your take? The word homeostasis would mean. So homeo is, I think, would be similar to home or same. Status is state, same state, maintaining same state. If you go by the root method also, could have found the meaning of this word. It is equilibrium, thought equilibrium. Yes, inside our body also this particular procedure is there to handle different situations, how we react to different stimuli, and what should be our response, body response, the response of the mind or the body. This is how the equilibrium is maintained in every situation. Wherever you find this word in the passage, immediately after that, that because of this system in our body or mind, you prepare yourself for either under the adverse circumstances or very difficult circumstances, either we fight or flee. So that is actually, we prepare ourselves. So homeostasis is, so very close option would have been emotion. It cannot be symmetry, it cannot be pressure. So identify the correct option to the views attributed by the author to the neuroscientist. Now from the passage we know that, in a nutshell, I told you that author was totally saying opposite to what neuroscientists predicted or they are saying. So you need to pick up the choice. So fear is rarely without context is what is mentioned by the author. Now as per the neuroscientists, we have to pick up the choice which is going opposite to this. First option is being stated by this passage, otherwise was difficult but questions were pretty direct. So therefore fear is a function, here it is, people can be, etc, etc. But where I am moving my arrow right now, but fear is rarely without context. This is what author is saying, and we have been asked, identify the correct option according to the views attributed by the author to the neuroscientist. So answer number 2 would be the majorly without context. Rarely means you'll never find any context behind any kind of fear as per the scientist, but author says that it is always with context, and scientists would say that you will not find anything major behind this. So second is going opposite to what question is portraying. Am I clear, guys? I picked up this question just to share that we could have answered even without reading the passage. Now this, okay, question number 6 is based on parajumbles. This time in this particular paper I think we kept the choices also, but it's highly likely in CAT you will not find choices. Instead you have to type your own answer, order of sentences. I think in mock 35 on 16th you'll be starting with mock 35. So in mock 35 and bull cat, well, last in CAT series, so we'll delete all the choices and instead we'll have options, typeable provision. So question number 6. So we need to find out the opener or the closure. As soon as we are able to find this, question is 99.99% done. From my point of view, question was easy. So pick up your opener in this case. So if I go through all the sentences, I'll come across this D. One of the Karl Marx most used and abused quotation is from his seminal essay, so as to speak twice. So after D, A forms a mandatory, but he forgot to add to whatever he stated earlier, that first time is tragedy and second time. Twice, two times, DA will form a mandatory pair, and D is an opener also, therefore answer is first. Thus 10-second question, less than 10-second question. So he forgot to add something, third out. B, historically speaking, the first anti-corruption movement demanding could have been very correct, because BCE forms a mandatory trio, but E and D will not form any connection. E says that movement 2 had emerged from a space outside the political spectrum, and D says one of the Karl Marx most used. So the connection will break here between E and D. So if you're really confused, or you picked up this second option also, so you'll find the connection breaking at this juncture. E and D will not have any connection. So second gone, only first is the right option. Am I clear, guys? That's how we track. Less than 10-second question. Okay. Now this we have to apply our brain a little. So go through all the sentences. Let us try second time also. First, you attempted this in paper, Bull Cat 32. And have you taken Bull Mock Cat 33 also, guys? Just now we finished compiling its result. So how was Bull Cat 33 and Bull Cat 11 if you have taken? So 33 also we kept few RCs, little tricky, and Bull Cat 11 also 1 or 2 RCs but tricky. So today itself we compiled the result, Bull Cat 11 also, Bull Cat 33 also. So you'll be able to see your result tomorrow. Okay, so guys, this is now misfit question. It's really difficult to track misfit because it's kind of tricky question, and sometimes we are really confused because we go by para jumbling techniques, sentence arrangement techniques, but most of the time these techniques, so-called tips, no doubt we teach you all these tips, but these tips will not work in finding misfit, because in misfit we are supposed to go by the theme link rather than opener, closure. No doubt may work sometime, but primarily we should try to link the sentences by the theme in them rather than opener, closure, mandatory, etc. So take your time. Question number 9. Pick up something which is a little off track, or saying a little extra or something else. So in this particular option, where I am moving my red circle, spatial relationship, you will not find this in any other choice. So statement D is out of context. It is lying little outside other three sentences. Other sentences can be grouped together, but this is lying little outside. Therefore D is misfit one here, because you will not find spatial relationship, this word, anywhere in these other three sentences. Rest are highlighting architectural form, designing, building, construction, etc. So I picked up this summary based question. I found this question to be very interesting. So if you remember, just go through once again, rush through, and if you are able to recall the answer or you got this question wrong, then we can discuss. So this is about, problem is not so much that there is a Nobel Prize in economics, but there was no equivalent prize in psychology, sociology, anthropology, etc. Economics in this way is not a social science but an exact one like physics or chemistry. This shows that a distinction that not only encourages hubris. So guys, do we know the meaning of the word hubris? You marked to Shubhanka. Okay, I think this is wrong. So guys, asking the meaning of hubris. No, Vivek. Hubris is pride. You take pride into something. So hubris is bordering to arrogance. attitude, you show attitude. Hubris among economists, but also changes the way we think about this subject. A Nobel Prize in economics implies that human world operate much like physical world. It implies. So from here we should try to make out that author is interested in saying that otherwise it is not. As per the economics, we think that it operates like physics or chemistry, but much like in the physical world, but actually it is not. It can be described as understood in neutral terms and linked to self-modeling like chemical reactions, etc. So he's saying that it is very, very interdependent, correlated, and this subject particularly cannot be taken as physics or chemistry is taken. So in the last few lines he has given examples. Now why I picked up this question, examples are given by the author to substantiate his point of view or main idea. Summary means we need to sum up the discussion, we need to find out the main idea and write in one of the write as one of the choices. So examples should never be included in the summary first, and from examples we come to know about what actually is stressing on, what is emphasizing on. So it is actually primarily, he says that if we go by compartmentalization or the cellular structure likewise as predicted by the economist, then we are not going to find anything, because when they developed formula, he has given an example in 1977 they were given Nobel Prize for two people were given Nobel Prize for one of the hedge funds set up by these people, and finally the fund got collapsed. So this shows that market did not always behave like scientific models. So this is the point which author was trying to convey, and he wanted us to understand that economics should not be taken as something which is fixed, concrete, and models can be made on, models can be developed, etc. So this actually the main idea was. So am I clear, Shubhankar? So second says the impact of converting something non-physical immutable. The weak word here was immutable. Immutable means not changing, fixed. Author is not saying that it is fixed. It changes as per the market condition, even economy, or we cannot predict anything as we can predict in science or chemistry. So second choice, the weak word link was immutable, and so author is saying that we should not attribute anything physical to the economics. So attribution of the physical attributes, form, structure to something inherently non-physical is not the right way of going about the things and lead to distortion of the reality. This is what actually he wanted us to understand. Therefore, question number 10, the best choice, best summary is no doubt fourth. Am I clear, guys? Okay. So right now, I think the festival fever is still on. Shopping is still on. Okay, take your time, read this question. Very interesting question. We are supposed to weaken the conclusion by the factory owner. Read, take your time, type your answer. If it comes out to be right, we'll move ahead. If it comes out to be wrong, we'll discuss. Guys, are you reading the question or just waiting for me to read and type? Okay, Shubhanka saying 1, Ankit saying 2, Vivek saying 4, Rahul also saying 4, Jugal okay saying 2. 2 seems to be very, very close option. The report did not account for the use of chemicals by the factory. Okay, so we have got all the choices in place except 3, 1, 2 and 4. Half of the battle is won if we find that, if you are able to make out that out of these 4 given choices, 1 could be the best. So we have won this battle. Now coming out of the technique required to answer this question. See, protesting farmers are saying that water pollution caused by effluent released by the factory owners has caused our land to become barren and fallow, means infertile. Factory owners, they are saying that you cannot blame us because reports say that your land loss its productivity because of overuse of chemicals you used. Now what is the assumption? Now in case of weakening or strengthening can be done only as per the technique, as per the trick. In order to strengthen the conclusion, we have to support the assumption. In order to weaken the conclusion, we have to go against the assumption. So first of all, we need to pick up the assumption. What is the assumption made by the factory owner? We'll hit his assumption. Here, factory owners assume that, which is that use of chemicals by the farmers destroyed the land. Chemicals used by the farmers. They are not thinking, because as per the report said that overuse of chemicals. So we need to hit this, that overuse was because of something else or something, because of some neutral reason or some any other reason. So whenever we have to weaken the conclusion, the technique is, or strengthen the conclusion, the technique is, we have to first of all pick up the assumption and we have to hit the assumption. So second, let us say second seems to be very, very close. So Shubhanka, if I pick up option number 1, farmers have been farming like, we need to go against the factory owner first of all. So farmers have been farming like this for past 100 years. So I think we haven't touched the question part, and since there we haven't been given what kind of way they adopted, or they are adopting, or they still are adopting for the past 100 years, there's no slightest hint of this. It says that water pollution caused by effluent release has destroyed their land. Factory owners say that overuse of chemicals you use. So first is gone. Third is also, region has been 2 periods of non-productiveness in the last 150 years. So way out of track. Third also gone. Who said third? Nobody. So first gone up. Now second and fourth seem to be very close options. Now if I say report did not account for the use of chemicals by the factory, so we have to go against the factory owners, not against the report. In the report it is overuse of chemicals, and it is not clear overuse of chemicals by the factory or by the farmers. Somebody used. If I say fourth, if I pick up fourth, chemicals used by the farmers were to neutralize. Yeah, Ankit, you implies farmers. Yes, absolutely fine. So answer would be, the chemicals were to neutralize the effluent present in the water. Now option fourth is hitting directly as going against factory owners. Factory owners said overuse of the chemicals destroyed the land, and fourth option says that overuse, they used chemicals so as to neutralize the ill effect posed by the effluent released by the factories, which polluted the water. So out of second and fourth, second touched the report but did not touch the assumption. Fourth touched the assumption made by the question here. So that's why fourth is the best answer. Am I clear, guys? I picked up this just to revise strengthening weakening technique. Okay. Now we have to find out the logically follows the paragraph. Question number 13, again very tricky. In the given paragraph, last line has been deleted and we are supposed to find out the last line. Now last line can have only 2 options, either extend the story or conclude the story. There cannot be third option, there cannot be any other option. Only 2 options, two ways of doing this question. One, you wind up the story. Second is you extend the story. Winding up means sum up. Sum up means conclude. Extension means you just need to focus on second last line of the passage. If you are able to read this We'll try this question. So guys, your take on this? If you are thinking of option number 1, it is already given in the passage. So restatement. Now in paracompletion question, restatement of one of the lines from the passage cannot be the answer to this question, paracompletion, or inference drawn on the basis of one of the lines from the passage cannot be an answer to to this paracompletion question. First is already given, therefore rejected, will not complete the paragraph. Now the very first line says experimental inference is of enormous importance, because without it we can never be sure that a correlation you observe have any causal significance. So he has given one church clock fallacy, 2 clocks chiming, and but Saint A is little before Saint B, so a Martian visitor will infer that Saint A chime caused by Saint B to chime, means A is causing B. The only point is that there is a difference between these two chiming, and visitor will think that A is causing B to chime. Now you need to check up this. So the next story would be, yes Rahul, the only real test of this hypothesis would be experimentally to ring Saint A's chime at random times rather than once per hour, because randomly we can conduct this, because we are supposed to answer that. Then the next line would be that then what is the way to check the discrepancy or check whether there is any correlation between these two chiming or not. So the only test would be 3. Yes Shubhanka. It is only experimental manipulation. So first of all, the keywords are very important, the tone is very important, and the weak link here is manipulation. Nothing has been manipulated. After every hour, every watch will chime, and in this case also this is happening. So there is no experimental manipulation. There is only experimental manipulation that can determine whether observed correlation truly indicate causation or not. Am I clear, Shubhanka? So we are not talking about any manipulation. So fourth also seems to be very close. This analogy can be applied. First of all, there is no analogy. He's saying fallacy. So this is not analogy. We are talking about the fallacy, means the wrong statement, seemingly correct but actually wrong, logically wrong. So fourth is also taken out, but I found people really impressed by this choice number 4, Vivek. So am I clear now? This analogy, there is no analogy drawn here. We are talking about the fallacy here, the problem here, discrepancy. Okay. So now this is grammar based question. 4 or 5 sentences, select option grammatically incorrect. We have to pick up the incorrect one. So from bad to worse, we are talking about situation 1, moving from first degree to second degree, from bad to worse. This is wrong here. A is gone, so A is wrong. So answer could be either 1 or 2. We just need to check. B is also, both the options are saying B is also wrong. Following close on the heels, so it cannot be HEALS, heels. We are talking about literal HEELS, heels, close on the heels. Following the close on the heels means observing this something very closely, scrutinizing. So A, B. Now we need to check whether C and E. Now read E. Irrespective of whether the Islamic State or BNP is behind the crimes, it has to be seen in relation to the earlier murders. We are talking about crimes and earlier murders. So it cannot be it has been. Subject or agreement says subject is plural, verb should also be plural. So they have to be seen. We are talking about the crimes in relation to the murders, earlier murders. So they have to be A, B and E. So I told you so many times earlier also that in grammar 3 or 4 concepts are very important. One, the subject verb agreement. Second, pronoun reference error. Third, modifier. And fourth is parallelism. Keep on revising the stuff and keep on revising the question that you find in your mock test, practices, whatever test you are taking, talking about bullseye or any other. But point is that keep on revising the stuff and we'll be able to handle this topic comfortably. Am I clear, guys? Very interesting question. Again, we are supposed to find out the last line. Choose the option that logically follows the paragraph. After paragraph, what will come? So I think this is one of the realities, bitter facts highlighted by this question. So you need to search yourself also, that are you extrinsically motivated or intrinsically motivated, means internally or externally. Means if you go by the package or the money factor, will not be able to touch the heights. One has to be self-motivated. Okay, so its author is dead against this. When children are given rewards such as toys, etc., for doing well in school, music, etc., they learn to expect rewards for good performance. One of the opinions. As they become adults, their desire for tangible rewards begins to govern their actions. Fine. They are now externally motivated. This is the conclusion of this entire situation. And again, opinion line. They come to rely on the world to provide things that can make them feel good. Pampering, always feeling insecure, always desiring the approval of their actions. So guys, your take now. So author says second is positive, but author's tone is not positive, is not approving, is not supporting this attitude shown by the elders. So yes, if I pick up one, why first is wrong, they need to you're saying two. They come up expecting everything that there is that is there in their environment, which help boost in their self-esteem and confidence, leading to self-efficacy. Do we know the meaning of efficacy? Yes, Bansal, Vivek, and you are correct. Third is fine. Efficacy means anything which is likely to bring good result. And they come expecting everything that is their environment will boost their self-esteem. First of all, in this, we're talking about their desire for tangible rewards every time. Now, they are externally motivated. Extrinsically means externally motivated instead of. So they come to rely on the world provide things that make them feel good. A is repetition here. They come to rely on the world provide things make them good. Repetition allowed, not allowed, therefore rejected. Second is seems to be very close. So now they are motivated. So they will definitely work hard to earn a lot of money. And what will happen after that, because they are only externally motivated, not internally motivated, only to find middle of the age their work has no meaning. Now fourth, had the option fourth started with the word but, this would have been the best. But the only problem with the fourth was that it started with sometimes. Had it been but in place of sometimes, this would have been the best option. So third is the best in this case. They'll often work hard because now they are motivated, but that motivation is only external. And in middle age, when they will not find anyone to approve or disapprove, to give them rewards, toys, etc., they will lose motivation, etc., and they'll find that their work has no meaning. Yes, sometimes is not showing any kind of contrast. Yes, Rahul, you're right. Had it been but in place of sometimes, answer would have been this. Am I clear, guys? Okay, Rahul, go ahead. What is your question? Okay, let's move ahead till the time Rahul is typing the question. Okay, now this is one of the discoveries made by Baumster's group regarding the consumption of mental and how to go to PJs which come without options. Yes, Rahul, we took up this point last time also. We have to read all the sentences and understand the story. There is no point that we can think of applying tricks without understanding what is going on in given 5 sentences. We need to understand what is going on. We need to understand the story. We need to find out the links ourselves, and without understanding not be able to apply the tricks, because choices are not there to help you to confirm your anticipation that you were thinking a sentence as an opener and all the choices are saying a opener, or most of the choices are saying a as an opener, so would confirm your anticipation. So you have to be extra careful, you have to be thorough with the understanding of the question, and then start framing your logical sequence of the given sentences. Yes, Rahul, Vivek, and it is very time consuming, and probably in case it can kill your time, consume your time also, and there's no guarantee that you will get the correct answer, because you have thinking, you have been no, you have to understand story yourself. So if you miss any point, central idea in one of the sentences, you'll not be able to pick up the right option or right sequence. Sorry. So yes, Rahul. So it is now pure understanding. No ifs and buts, no adulteration, no contamination, pure understanding, your level of comfort with this language. If you're fine, as far as the level of comfort is there, or understanding or logical connection between the sentences, probably you'll be able to attempt the, otherwise there is no way that we can help you, and tricks will help you to find out the right sequence. It is no doubt tricks are important, but unless you understand what is going on, you will not be in a position to apply the tricks. Yes, Rahul, it is risky, but so is the corporate sector, so would be your the economy or the business world. Everywhere you go by your speculation, intuition, and your self-conviction belief system. Being a manager, being an entrepreneur, you have to have very strong conviction in you. That's what they are checking without giving. So now it is the passage was very simple. It is about that how come the most important commodity in our body, or the part of our body, is mind, and it consumes a lot of energy in the form of, the simplest would be glucose or the sugar. And they checked this, they were surprised to find out that whenever sugar is given before a task, the participant or the contestants or the volunteer showed huge spike in the efficiency, and when they were starving or the energy levels depleted before any meal or something, they were not able to make good choices, and they postponed even few of the important decisions. So that was a whole idea. So that's why, if you remember that in our so-called Indian society, you will see this in Hindi movies also, that generally mother would give curd, sweetened curd. In Bangla it is called mishti doi. So before you go for your exam, so that is the only purpose, scientific reason. It is not any kind of so-called superstition. The only purpose is to keep your energy levels up, because that carbohydrate and the calcium combination will keep you alert during the exam. So again, before you take your cat on November 29th, make sure that you consume at least half bowl of sweetened curd. So let's see, very interesting paragraph. So let's see if we can attempt few of the question even without reading the passage. Now, ego depletion. Now, if you go back to the ego depletion, it is literally, we're not talking about the ego depletion in terms of ego only. So here, the bold implication of this idea that effects of ego depletion could be undone by ingesting glucose. and this colleague have confirmed this hypothesis several experiments. So what was the experiment? To interpret their body language while they were performing a series of words, cross screen, solar succession. So those who took glucose were able to follow the instructions given by these scientists clearly, and they had strong will to hang on to whatever has been said. And those who were not able to maintain, or those who were not given enough glucose, they were not able to stick to the instructions issued by the scientists. So this is, you're not able to, your inability to focus on whatever has been said or instructed is called ego depletion. You're not able to maintain yourself. So if it is clear, then probably we can understand. That's the word second, ego. Now check your choice, check your whatever I have told you right now. So now it takes lots of courage to pick up none of the above choice. Answer to this question was none of the above, and it takes huge amount of courage, conviction. We are not talking about ego depletion in literal sense of ego. We are talking about depletion of the energy, and that especially in terms of glucose currency, and this depletion will make you less efficient, and you will find lag in your thinking and will not be able to make good choices. Yes, now Vivek, your choice was reduction in the level of glucose in the blood, especially because of strenuous mental activity. So it was about, now we need to, first option is half true. So what this led to? This led to that they were not able to make choices. That's why Vivek, we have to reject. We rejected option number 1. Am I clear, Vivek? First is half correct. This is one of the ways, tricks, very cheap trick we employ to make you sentimental. First is half correct. Now this is reading cognitive. Now based on your reading of this passage, now here we want to check whether you have understood, or can you apply, can you extrapolate your understanding in different situation or not. Now we can say that being involved in difficult cognitive means mental reasoning is analogous to, similar to. Now here in the passage it was clearly mentioned that whenever we come across difficult situation while doing normal tasks, whenever we have to make difficult choices, we need extra energy to attempt to overcome adversities or difficult decisions. Yes. Second is absolutely fine. A runner who draws down glucose stored in muscle during a sprint. Now sprint is immediately you have to pick up, and you have to move faster in order to take a lead. Second, rest all are normal. A marathon participant who paces herself in such a way so as to retain glucose in her system for entire duration of the race. This is normal practice. They've been taught like, they have been trained like this. But during sprint means immediately you have to pick up and just run. There you need cognitive. Difficult cognitive reasoning means this is very similar to second choice. Absolutely fine. Passage was simple, very interesting. So 22nd question, based on parajumbling. Answer. Now do we know the meaning of word snares, guys? And the meaning of the word heuristics? Snares, trap. So what are the traps that people step into when trying to work their way through moral dimension of the science? We're talking about the traps. Heuristics means whenever you learn, approach is a kind of approach you adopt while solving any problem, where the purpose is to learn and to check, to experiment. We do not guarantee the results, but the purpose is to learn. Simply heuristics means learning by doing. So these two words are very important. So what are the snares that people step on in order to understand? Let's say if you find this particular question in misfit, then it is very difficult for us to group the sentences. 3 to group in 1. Because if I am not aware of the meanings of these few words, I will not be able to understand the sentences. So Shubhanka, am I clear? Snares means trap. So what are the traps? Now we need to understand that throughout this question, all the sentence remaining is explaining what are the traps. Now some of the most common are to do with the simple rules of thumb. Some of the most common traps are, so after A, D will come. You will find AD, AD in second and third choice. We just need to check whether C will come or B will come. C says a particular pervasive example in the moral domain is, and B says heuristics can be thought as a tools. Now D says, you will come across the word heuristics. We can go by a keyword link method. So this is heuristics, and I'll try to link heuristic with this and this. So answer would be 3. So a little bit of understanding, above average vocabulary, keywords will help only, techniques will help only if my other departments are above average. Let's move ahead to the next question. Now this is Plato believed. We have to pick up the summary question. So Divya, one question or question number 1, case of dangling modifier. Q should modify 1 or 1 should modify Q? Okay, you have a question. Yeah, please go ahead, Divya. By the time we'll read this summary question. Guys, take your time, and I'm also running short of time because immediately at 6:30 I've got Super 800 sessions. I'll be taking grammar. Will be uploaded day after tomorrow. So guys, so in this particular question, Plato believed that best of all lives were based on quest, and arduous means very difficult quest or strongly focused quest at that. People who sought truth were ones who to Plato lived with the most intensity or even joy. Yes, I said some examples. Previous question. Okay, previous means here in this parajumble question. See Divya, in this particular question, no doubt all the sentences were a little tricky because primarily moving around philosophy and morality, ethics, etc. So we need to understand the essence, the gist of the sentences also. Now what is your question? And C gives an example. So B says heuristic can be thought as a tool. He has used this word heuristic. So heuristic, what is heuristics? Introduced, and we need to explain this. And B, after B, a particular pervasive example of this moral domain. Fast, dimension, complex distribution, information may be limited. Choosing between various options, making everyday predictions. A particular pervasive example, common example of this moral domain, do not play God. So now B and C links together. Okay, the question is why not C follow D? D says some of the most commons are to do with this. So after A, what are the snares? Some of the most commons to do with the simple rules of thumb and make the sense of our world. Okay, but I have already marked this keyword heuristic. If I remove B sentence from here, obviously after D, C will come. We need to include this, otherwise this will be very difficult for us to place B. It's all because of this heuristics. Rule thumb or heuristic that we use make sense of our world. Heuristics can be thought as, then we'll include example, no doubt. Examples are related to D, but otherwise I'll not be able to place B after C. Am I clear, Divya? Yes, Divya. Press yes or no. Okay, so moving on to the next, Plato. Mr. Plato. Plato believed that. So what he just said, so he wanted all of us to understand. He was not creating any theory just for Greeks or Athenians or specific set of people. He wanted all of us to understand, to know what is just, straight and well balanced soul, etc. Everything for everyone. So we need to summarize this. Even Plato confident as he was understood that others might not come along in time to do better. So we need to pick up the choice which will summarize the entire discussion, this question. I think third is going fine. The discovery of truth for all is very strong here. Was an important consideration for Plato and this related his work. Yes, Rahul, he even understood the challenges. So he understood that others might come along in time to do better. Others will have failed. So he also realized that it is a very difficult task. So guys, we are approaching the end of this session. I'll be able to take one or more question. So now this is the last, I think, RC. It's about anthropology. Again, very boring, abstract RC. Very abstract RCs. Reading comprehension. It says that anthropology, and the whole credit goes to, it's very interesting line somewhere in this passage. He says that credit goes to Darwin. Anthropology is child of Darwin, and from here we created one question. So Aditya, you have joined this session. Okay, Aditya, I think you have come for this grammar 100, Super E100, but right now this is session going on, analysis bull mock 32. And on the basis of this, we framed this question also. So someone is child of someone doesn't imply that the person is father of that particular child. Child means contributed a lot. Anthropology is very wide subject, and Darwinism or Darwin helped us to understand. At the time of Darwin, this word was, he was not even aware of this anthropology. He was busy in his own pursuits. So Darwin was one led to the birth of anthropology 2 journal. He created his own theory of organic evolution, not the anthropology. Factually also wrong. I could have rejected without even reading the passage. Inherently, the thought, ideas, belief of Darwin pervade all. One is not aware of inherent. It is not since birth. So we have got heredity only, not thought and ideas. Rejected. Anthropology has a lot of credit. This is the best choice here, because throughout the passage, author is praising the contribution given by Darwin to the field of anthropology. So 4th is also actually wrong. Author says Darwin contributed a lot to this particular field, so anthropology came before Darwinism. So simply rejected. But I've answered this question number 20 without reading the passage. So the tone of the author, this is the last question I'm taking up, guys, because immediately after 10 or 15 minutes I've got one more session and I have to upload all the slides also. So I think this is last question. The tone of the author throughout the passage. So my idea behind picking this question is that, do we know the meaning of toadying? Option number 3, primarily toadying. Yes, Aditya, if you can hear my voice, if I'm audible, if my voice is reaching you. Toadying. So did you see the meaning of this word? Okay, Aditya, as usual, it is psychophancy, flattering, absolutely fine. So faintly partisan means taking sides. So deferential means respect, mark of respect. So throughout the passage, he is obviously showing respect or praising Darwin, and is takes into consideration that he has contributed a lot. So answer to this question was option number 1. So guys, time has come to wind up this session. At 6:30 I'll be taking one grammar session and will be uploaded after 48 hours minimum. So Rahul, if you're part of Super E100 group, you can attend, but otherwise if link is not provided, you'll not be able to attend. But do not worry, we shall be uploading this session on our YouTube channel also, where you can. Are you part of Super 100 or Super 200 group, Rahul? If you are, okay, you are not. So we'll upload this session, and as soon as it is uploaded, you can watch this on our YouTube channel. Right, Rahul? You not to worry. So guys, time has come to wind up this session. So see you next time around, and enjoy this festive season, and let us prepare ourselves for this D-Day battle, Star War, November 29. I think I'm using very heavy adjectives for this very silly competition, CAT, Common Admission Test. So see you all next time around. Bye.